Hello guys, welcome to this first of many podcasts for the audio sci-fi drama series Millennium Quest. I'm James.
And I'm Gareth.
We are the writers and the producers of Millennium Quest, which is a science fiction time travel show loosely based in the year 2518, which we decided might have been a decent little time to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gareth, do you want to come up with how you got the idea for
Well, basically, 15 years before the date James mentioned, there was a war between Earth and Mars, and what Mars were doing were fighting for independence. And then 10 years after the war, this when two of our RSF best men chose to go back and find and bring back all those who ran away after the war and bring them to justice. And we built a ship, that's RSF stands for Royal Space Force, and we've come up with a name, it's called the Millennium, just some random name we think of, and now James can tell you basically what the first episode would be about.
Well, before we go on to start saying what the first episode is, we came up with the idea just out of curiosity really, because we were originally thinking of doing an audio show. And Gareth came up with the idea for a time travel series, and as we were thinking of names and different parts of that, I suggested like a policey sort of time travel thing, going back and trying to find people who've escaped the war.
The trade.
Yeah, it's like the trade, or like in Timecom. And then it was you who had the idea of calling it Millennium Quest.
Yes.
So. Then we had the ideas of like
it's not just the ship, it's also a life. Like for example, if it gets damaged, you can transfer its conscious mind into an android. And like for example, like Kit in Night Rider, if there's something wrong with the ship, like it's got a damaged coil in the engine room, and you can't isolate it, the ship will tell you what's wrong with it.
Well, that's basically what we had the idea. We've got loads of ideas for Millennium Quest.
Just coming up with ideas how to make it more interesting and not
exactly.
too overcomplicated. And
Well, we don't want to make it too much like Star Trek, Star Wars, or all these other science fiction shows you see, which is why we decided to make up this new area military called the Royal Space Force. Because normally when you see sci-fi shows, it's merely always America, like in Star Trek. You've got USS, which is like American ships, which is why we've decided to go for the Royal Space Force. So all the ships are like HMS and stuff like that. So obviously the ship we've got here is the RSF, Royal Space Force ship Millennium. Hence the name for the show, Millennium Quest. The quest being going back in time and finding the leaders who were part of
the whole ship can't go back in time. There's one specific room on the ship that contains a time portal, and only certain members of the crew know about it.
The story mainly features around two of the star characters, and the two star characters are known as Colonel Matthew Scott, played by myself, and Second Lieutenant Andy Richards,
which is played by Nick.
And the story of these two characters is they are both the first time travel agents, as you could say, and you can have Scott being the more military disciplined leader, and Richards being the
more hesitant,
more shell-shocked from his time in the Mars War, and
he's lost his whole family to this war
because due to the Martian leaders been using illegal weaponry against Earth forces, and obviously, as we said, Gareth said, he's lost his family, he's become quite badly shell-shocked, and he feels like the way to get revenge is to obviously help out. So he's chosen to take part in the Millennium Quest program, and
one other important thing is this ship is behind schedule, because it means the ship is so advanced, it took a long time to build and get up to technical standards, and had a lot of teething problems.
Yeah, so in the first episode we've got that the ship's being built, it's taking too long to build, it's way behind schedule, So this is what the first episode is going to really be about: building the ship, getting it up to scratch, and then probably at the end of the episode,
And it not going right as well.
Well, yeah, might have to have that.
And plus some episodes we can, say for example, we travel back in time, we do something a little bit silly and it alters the future. Just basically that.
We've got so many ideas for the series, where it's kind of impossible really just to say them all in one podcast. So which is why probably what we'll do is after every episode's aired, we'll probably do a podcast to explain how we got the idea.
And if any of you guys have got any questions.
Yes, yeah, well that's something else.
We'll be posting this on YouTube, so if you've got any questions, please comment.
This is going on, as you can probably hear, it is on YouTube right now. And so what we'll do as it goes on, people can send us questions, and or even better still, do send us your ideas, and we could incorporate those into the show. But of course, anything that's too much...
I'm sure 2 brain cells ain't really.
So, 2 brain cells, get
There's
those.
probably 6 other billion brain cells out there, so please, send us your ideas.
And as the shows go on, we're also going to have challenges for the listeners as well.
Like we can't think of a logo for the ship, for example.
Well, a logo for the series, really.
Logo for the whole series. Yeah.
So at the end of this podcast, we will tell you more about that. But as we said, how did we get first? As we said, we've already said how we got the idea for the show.
Yeah.
And really,
we've just basically built on it.
Yeah, that's basically.
And then we come up with some silly ideas where we're thinking, oh, that's just too complicated. Like, for example, we had a smoking room and you have restaurants, and just those sort of things that aren't really important.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to add stuff that makes it too complicated, really, do you? Because if you make it too complicated, then I'm sure the listeners that they don't really want to listen to.
Like, it's complicated enough saying that the ship can transfer itself into an android, but how the android come about is how we'll explain later on.
But again, this is more stuff that we've come up with. I mean, you don't see, you see like in Star Trek, it's always just a computer saying yes sir, 3 bags full sir. But in this one, it's more like the computer is alive and more like a living entity. A bit like the computer is in the game of Halo series. A bit like that, really.
Or the Voyager probe from first Star Trek film, for example.
It's something like that. We've got the computer is interactive, but as the ship goes on, we're going to have many problems in the series. For example, as Gareth said, probably one episode, a mistake of leaving something that shouldn't in the past, changing the future.
Yeah, like one time we travel to a time that's before Christ or something, we have a weapon or a device from the future and we leave it behind. And then when we come back to our present time, completely changed.
There are many ideas we've got, so many ideas. And there's just so many. So that's basically what we've decided for the story. Now, for this little competition we've had in mind, we want people who are listening. We want your help to design us a logo for the series of Millennium Quest. Now, I will put an email address to send it to on the description. So please look below at the description. And please do send us your ideas for Millennium Quest to that email address. And myself and Gareth, we will look through them. The winner will be announced on another podcast, either before or just after the show is aired. And your logo will be a permanent fixture for the show. And hopefully, if we can get enough people to enjoy this series, and as we go on, we may even begin to start to sell merchandise, which is what we hopefully have planned. Hopefully in the not too distant future. And whoever designs us the best logo for the series, we will of course put those on perhaps t-shirts, and we would send the winner a free t-shirt. So please do get in touch with us. So of course, to the description below, please look at the email address. Do send us your ideas, and we will put a closing date on when we've got more of an idea of a closing date. But we will keep you informed.
Okay, that's the end of the first one.
Well, thank you. We know it's only 10 minutes. We know it was only 10 minutes long, but there's not much to say in this first podcast, but hopefully when the next podcast come along, we may be able to make it a bit longer for you. Okay. But thank you for listening, and we do hope you do enjoy the first episode of Millennium Quest, which will be coming out soon. But I think that's about it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
And as we said, and don't hesitate.
Yep. And as we said, do please send us all your ideas to the email address below, and we will of course choose the best one and let the best winner know. Thank you very much.